Coming to Ghana, it was a huge sense of relief, a load off, because the culture here is much more laid back. A lot of people appreciate that. I have peace of mind. And that's something that I think a lot of people, when they come here, that's what they experience, because you don't really get that. The hustle and bustle of the US is so concentrated, it's so heavy. That's why I speak so much about the energy here. It literally felt like a load was taken off. So even though I make less money, it doesn't feel like less money. It feels more fulfilling, and I actually feel wealthier.
Hi, my name is Jamia. I am an American expat that has now moved to Accra, Ghana.
I get sunlight, which most people in the US don't really get, because we're in cubicles, we're in offices, we work at home. You just don't get that access. People are out and about. I walk more, naturally walk more. You're in your neighborhood, there's shops locally. You can just walk to places. You don't just have to get into your car. It's not cold. For me, back home, it is freezing. They just got more snow. And I'm not a cold person. So listen, I am enjoying myself here.
Hello. So my name is Jamia. I recently relocated from the United States to Accra, Ghana, and this is my home. Welcome in. All right, you guys, welcome to my 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment here in Accra. So come on in, let's take a look. So here we have the main living room space. Very cozy, very nice. This is where I like to binge watch my Netflix shows. And coming over here, we kind of have the table. I kind of make this a makeshift space for me to work. We're a little bit less traditional, so this is primarily for me to work. I have my setup here. You'll see some of my equipment here. Over here, we do have a kitchen, pretty cozy, simple, has all the necessities right here. I got this apartment for $500 a month, which is very affordable, especially if you're coming from bigger markets in the US. I come from the DC area, so this is definitely way cheaper than me living in DC, where years and years and years ago, for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe a little bit bigger than this, I was paying closer to like $2,700 a month. So let's go ahead and check out the bedrooms. We have the master right over here. Super chill, super cozy. And then we have one more bedroom right over here. And that's my daughter's room. Right now she's traveling, so we kind of have space for storage. But it's very nice and cozy. The neighborhood is very quiet, and that was really important to us. Again, there's 2 bathrooms. You don't need to see those, but 2 full bathrooms that are included in the home. I feel like since I've been here, it's been very calming to my nervous system. I have a past of, and this is actually very hard for me. I did at one point, and I'll be very candid, so even if I get emotional, don't mind me, you guys. At one point when I was postpartum, I did go through postpartum depression. That transitioned into full-blown depression that was like high functioning. And I feel like a lot of women go through that. I feel like it's not talked about enough. At least in the States, I don't know about the statistics here, but I feel like it is quite common. And it's not as advertised as it just being a couple of years or a year past your child being born. It actually extends longer than that, and there's not enough research on why that happens, the help, the resources, and just being here alone has done wonders for my nervous system. I used to have really, really bad anxiety, and it took me through a dark place, and I'm still working through that. And for anyone who is out there who is going through that, just know that you're not alone, and just know that there are resources out there. Do the things that you need, get the help that you need, and just move forward and have the silver linings. But definitely, I would have to say the energy. I feel like that is a big, big, big one, because consumerism in the States is so heavy that it's just heavy on your mental. And I feel like a lot of people are walking around with
high functioning depression, especially men too, because they can't outwardly express it. And I feel like here, people are just more jovial. They enjoy life. They're laid back. People don't even fight. If you're honking at somebody who cut you off in the car, you fuss, you say your things, and you go. You don't have to worry about as much crime. It's very peaceful, and everybody knows that, which is why a lot of people want to come here, especially a lot of Black Americans, because one, it feels like home, and it's just peaceful. It gives them a sense of home, away from home, what they know. So on a monthly basis, I do pay $500 for rent for this apartment. My transportation cost is about $150 now that I'm a little bit closer into the city. For eating out, because I still do like to eat out a lot. Listen, I don't know how to make the local dishes, but I love the local dishes, so I'm gonna have the experts make it for me so it's good, okay? That I would probably say for the family, if we go out a few times out of the month, I would say about $300 for eating out. Still reasonable. For miscellaneous things like shopping, going out, I would probably say about like $200. If I'm more actively cooking, groceries can still be pretty reasonable as long as you're not getting imported foods. The big thing here that makes groceries cost so much, you guys, is the imports. If you want your American brands here in this Ghana, oh, you will pay. For that, if we're still sticking to non-US based brands and just getting the necessities, I could say about $250 a month for groceries. But if we are looking at getting some of our well-known brands, like back home, that could easily get upwards to like $500 after you're incorporating those import costs. I would say on average between $2,500 and $3,000 a month, which is significantly less than what I would pay when I was in the US. I do have a house that is currently for rent in the US in Virginia. That mortgage is $2,100. And it's significantly less. That's just the mortgage. So incorporating other costs, definitely saving a lot of money, and that's how I like it. Living in Accra is not for joke. I have a Liberian mother-in-law, and she'll say it's not for joke, okay? Living in Accra, if you plan to come here as an American expat or someone who's living in markets like the UK or markets with a higher currency, it's quite comparable. If you're living that lifestyle, the same things, you're not cutting back on anything. That was actually one thing that was pretty surprising to me coming here. I didn't realize that Accra in specific, if you go to other neighboring cities like Kumasi or any of the other cities, you could definitely save money and it's not as expensive and it's affordable. But here in Accra, yeah, if you're living a lifestyle similar to what you were living back home, it is quite expensive and pretty much on par with what you were paying. Yeah, absolutely. So I have transitioned from previously being a stay-at-home mom. So of course, all my income was based on my partner, and I was blessed to be in that position. Now I take a little bit of a different approach because I always encourage all women, no matter what position they are in life or what relationship status they have, always have something for yourself. You can love that man to death, but always have something for yourself. So now I am working for all of my money, and instead of it being more traditional when I had a typical 9-to-5 job, where at that time I was making about $93,000 US a year, I transitioned into income that is significantly less, but it's more fulfilling. I'm an entrepreneur. I make all of my money. I do all of that on my own time. I teach people how to get remote jobs successfully because a lot of people either don't know how to get started, or they struggle with it. So I help them with tried and true tips and things that have worked for me that has helped me make closer to an 80K salary over the years, even when I was working on like a part-time basis. I also teach them AI, so that AI generated clips, AI avatars, which are huge for marketing, or just using that for like cinema. If they're looking into AI automations, which is really, really, really good, especially here for Ghanaians, because a lot of people don't know about it. So people learning about it now here, they can take it and run with it. They can make money abroad, which is really important to me because it gives them more access, and which is why I target Ghanaians, not because I want their money, but because I know that the value that I bring to them and how it can change their lives, change their families' lives. I also have a women's group. It's more so kind of like a fellowship and women's empowerment group where we connect with women all over the diaspora. We have women that are literally in, I think, about like 10 different countries now, between the US, UK, different African countries, and even in the Caribbean, where we connect. We host events, virtual events. We have in-person events for the ladies that are here locally, and it's a really good support system because a lot of people who are looking to relocate are able to find really, really good resources. People have Airbnbs, help with getting housing, job opportunities are posted there. It's just a really good resource for people, and we will be hosting next month speakers to help with everyone in the group to level up financially, spiritually, just all across the board. So super, super amazing. So aside from what I do professionally, I do have my digital products that are available as well. So I'm a little multifaceted. A content creator I do have income that comes in from content creation as well. So I guess I would include that in my professional work. So yeah, I'm a little multifaceted. Oh no, I would actually say I feel more financially free here in Ghana. And although I'm taking on a role that was a little bit newer for me, being completely in an entrepreneurial space, I find that compared to being in the States where I'm working a 9-to-5 job, I'm kind of on autopilot. So you are subject to the rules, the schedules, the stipulations of your employer. You don't get to decide what you do with your time. You have to be places at a certain time. I have much more time with my daughter. If I decide that I don't want to work today and I want to go spend time with my family, I get that. And that's very important to me. So that is worth more than anything that I can get in the stability that I would get with like a 9-to-5 job. I would definitely say that being here did help me discover the opportunity. I wouldn't say discover AI because I'm not new to AI, but just the market for people to actually use it and be able to profit. For me, it's really, really big for people of the diaspora, people of color, to have access and means. And especially here where the typical salary for like the average Ghanaian is far less than like $1,000 US. What we would consider in the US to be, you know, in poverty. If I could provide opportunities that can help change someone's lives and generate more income for them so that they can live a better life, to me, that was something that I kind of stumbled upon, where there's an interest in this market in particular and just being able to help people. I love, as someone who has come from a majority Black area, again from the DC area, I really, really appreciate just seeing people that look like me. Even though most people here are a little bit darker than me, I love it. I have a half Ghanaian baby, so this is where I want her to see her people and her family. So for me, it was the weather, the people look like me, they spoke English, and Tree, of course, and listen, I tell people all the time I don't know a whole lot, but I know a little bit of Tree. Kakra, kakra. I'm learning small. The peace that I feel here is, again, I attribute to the people and just the love and the culture, and just the natural energy. Again, it's very hard to explain, but coming from the heaviness of the States, I feel like a lot of people, especially who have never visited the States, they look at it as this place of land of opportunity, land of this and that. You can accomplish all these things, get all this money. But I find that especially a lot of Africans that are in the States, they make all this money and then they send it home. They send it home, and that's great. But when do you actually get to enjoy it as a person who's making the money? And I feel like that's the bigger thing where it's like you can't really enjoy it. It's just like you're all on autopilot. Go to work, take your kids to school. When I was in the States and I was working full time, I probably spent, with the exception of the weekends, on the weekdays, I probably saw my daughter for maybe like 2 hours max a day. I come home, I get her from school, daycare at that time. I'm rushing her to eat because we got to get up. I have to be up early for work. So I'm rushing her, come on, eat your food. I don't even get to have time to enjoy with her. That's not quality of life. And then you got to put her to sleep because you got to be up early. You want to make sure they get enough sleep. It's no quality of life, you guys. And I feel like that's the difference. When you come here, it's just like we get to enjoy. Africans in general, especially Ghanaians, they value children just being children. And that's what I feel like has been so amazing. And that makes me so happy. I'm getting emotional, but it makes me so happy because the children they're not looked at as like nuisances. Like they can just be. She can go run off. I don't have to worry about like being courteous or manners. Of course, she's not rude or anything, never that. But it's just amazing that my child can just be and enjoy, because at the end of the day, like that's what we're here for, right? Yeah, Ghana welcomed me. I started my content creation journey a little bit before actually coming here, and it actually took off. I highlighted just my experiences coming here, from the issues with immigration, having to kind of sweet talk an uncle at the consulate in New York to even get an expedited visa, to the people that I ran into, and it really flourished and helped me build a community so much that I even started my women's community. And I found a lot of great connections there, just from people who are on similar journeys, people who relate to me. All of my friends that I have here, I have because I made content and I built that community, and they reached out to me, and it's been super fulfilling. I love it. I love it. And if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have stayed, you guys, because I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable if I didn't have my friends and my support system here. And that was a big part of me having a positive experience with moving here. Oh, I absolutely have friends back home, but you know, as you get older, people have schedules, time zone differences. I have friends that are not just on the Eastern time zone. Some of them are Central. I even have family that is in California, and that's essentially, we're losing a day communication wise, because they're 7-8 hours behind Ghana time. So it ranges from at least 5 hours right now with daylight savings. So it is a little bit harder to communicate just naturally with everyone having lives, if they have children, and just trying to coordinate that. So I do still have my support system, my best friends and everything back home that I love and that have supported me along this journey. But it's also important to build your community here, because you need those people here on the ground on your day-to-day. My journey and coming to Ghana and was build my success in my community was Sheabutter. And of course, if you ever come to Ghana, you have to stop at Hamamat's Sheabutter Museum, because it's an amazing thing that she built here. And what I built for myself was kind of similar. And I had a brand that was Sheabutter based, and it grew and developed my community initially. When I came here, and I had a lot of interest from people that were looking to wholesale, and just with everything that I had going on, it just kind of fell by the wayside. But for those that don't know, Ghana is like the shea butter capital. I know you can get shea butter from everywhere else, but is here. You get the good shea butter here, you guys. I know that Ashton Sweet has come here. He had some enjoyable time here. He got rubbed down by the beautiful Ghanaian ladies, and they were using shea butter, all of the natural products. Shea butter is huge. It's kind of had this platform where it's not so much kind of like your auntie or that stuff that your mom used on you. It's now used in like so many products, and we don't even think about it, even in the States. And I just have to give it a platform, because you can't come to Ghana without just trying some homegrown shea butter. And come into the Shea Butter Museum, because like, come on now. Can you come to Ghana if you haven't experienced shea butter from here? No. I feel like the biggest sacrifice that I had to make coming here was just comfortability, familiarity. Taking everything that I knew to be home and existed, and realizing that that's home. It'll always be home, but it's not a part of my story. I've been fortunate enough to have family that has been very, very supportive. My family is actually trying to come over here. My mom is on her way here. I'm so happy for that. I can't wait for that. My parents, they're both retired, so it's perfect for them. But I've been blessed to be in a situation where I have a support system where everybody has supported me across the board. Even when I just up and decided, and I called them and I'm like, hey, I'm moving to Africa. I'm moving to Ghana. So for me, it was much less of a sacrifice because of the blessing that I had a support system and people who are just in my corner no matter what route I choose. But just detaching from everything that I knew and being comfortable with the fact that if I want to see my people, I can't hold them to coming over here because I chose to move here. I have to have the means so that I can go back and forth and see my family and make sure that my daughter can still grow up having good relationships with her family, even though they're not here. And I feel like that was the biggest sacrifice, which I wouldn't even call a sacrifice, because I've been blessed to be in this position. Surprisingly enough, when I was in the States, I was not big into networking at all. Like, I used to frown upon it, especially coming from the DC area. It's very political. Everybody works for some section of the government, so it's very much when you meet people, oh, okay, oh, nice to meet you, what do you do? That's always the next step in the conversation. It's very tied to our careers and not so much as people. And because of that, I found that community is really, really important. So now I'm very conscious and intentional about meeting new people and actually learning about them, not just what they do, what they bring to the world. Of course, those are all amazing things, but community is very big to me, because you never know who you'll meet in a different walk of life and what they can bring to your life and vice versa. And I found that just being here, I actually place more importance on community building and intentional networking, with good intention, of course, is so important. It's a part of my story, a huge part of my story, and it's so surprising, because if this was me like a year ago and somebody told me to go to like some women's event, I'm like, no, So I found that has definitely moved up. It went from being something that wasn't important to me, that I didn't even think about, to being a very important part of my everyday. Well, I don't like to think of things as mistakes, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. And it's a part of my journey too. I feel like because I decided to move here kind of on an impulse. Although it wasn't, I wouldn't think of it as just an impulsive decision, because it was very much, it was a subconscious thing. It's a calling, if you will, where I feel like I didn't have my income together. To be quite honest with everyone, when I came here to my personal name, I had $0 to my name. I was moving off of money and my partner taking care of me. And I'm very candid about that, even in my content when I talk about what I do for work, because I am an actual case study. You can go from not having any income and making income remotely and make good income remotely, which is a large part of my story. But I feel like it would have been a little bit easier had I had that straightened out before. I could have gotten that started before so that I wouldn't have to worry about that. But everything happens for a reason. It's a part of the story. It's a part of your experiences, and it's a part of how you grow. So I don't look at anything as a mistake. One thing that I have found that was a little bit of a surprise for me was connecting with local Ghanaian women who may not have traveled. Ghanaians in general are much more reserved people. They're quiet people. You get to know them. They bring you in. They welcome you with open arms. But because they're more reserved people, it takes a little bit more to kind of foster relationships with them. And I found that it has been a little, I wouldn't say difficult, but I have to put a little bit more effort than we typically would. You know, culturally, Americans are very forward, right? So we meet people and we're like, hey, you know, come on over, come to my house, do this and that. Or it's very casual. Everything's very casual. It's not necessarily like that here, especially for people who haven't lived abroad. That is it's much more intimate, and that's how they look at relationships. So when you're getting to know local women in particular, you have to take your time. And that was a little bit of a surprise to me. Not a bad thing, it just is what it is. I absolutely feel wealthier now. I have my time, I make my own schedule. I have access to beautiful weather, and I think that people kind of downplay that. When you have the sun shining and you actually get to get out and enjoy it, the sun is shining. What do you have to stress about? Your bills are there. They're always going to be there. But it's something that it does for your body that kind of helps. It's a relief. And you naturally enjoy more. So being here has definitely done that for me. I definitely feel more wealthy. I make about half of what I made when I had a corporate job making nearly 6 figures, but I have my time. I can enjoy. I don't have anxiety. I'm not feeling like I have running lists, even being an entrepreneur and we know that doesn't turn off. But I still have more time to just sit and think and process things. And that to me is just, you're way more healthy and wealthy to me if you have the access to foods. Even if I wanted chicken right now, I could call somebody to bring me a live chicken. I could pick that chicken, and I know he was running around here earlier today, fresh, straight from the ground and on my plate. And it's just much healthier than a lot of like the genetically modified foods that we have in the US. Like it's really bad. Like even if it's organic, you don't even truly know if it's organic or if it's been sprayed with pesticides. It's a whole thing, and I definitely feel healthier and much more wealthy. I definitely want to see more of Africa. Ghana was my first introduction to the continent, and Ghana will always be home. It will always, always, always be home. But I do want to see other parts of the continent. I want to go to other countries. So that's a really, really big thing for me in the coming years, for me and my family to experience, especially for my child to experience. I want to go to see some other countries, maybe South Africa, and just see where my heart and my soul resonates. But travel is a big, big thing. Scaling my businesses, of course, and just growing them to their fullest potential. And just enjoying life, enjoying the small wins, the big wins, and being present. I will say that everybody's story is a little different. I came here a little different than most people. I didn't have a whole lot of planning. Things were kind of strategically aligned so that it worked out perfectly for me and my family. But that may not be the case for everyone else, and I acknowledge that. I definitely would say if anyone was looking to kind of follow in my footsteps, or even if they're looking to relocate to anywhere in Africa, just make sure that you take the time and you spend time in that area to just make sure you truly like it. Visit different parts of it, and just make sure it truly aligns with you. Making sure that you save up. It's much easier when you don't have to worry about things on the back end or put it off because you can't afford it. And a big part of that is remote work. If you don't have a business that you're coming to or a job that you're coming to in that particular country, it is very important for you to make sure your income is straight, be it remote work with traditional jobs, a business for yourself that's online. I will always encourage that because you do have location independence if you want to get up and move. But that is very, very important. That's a large reason why I even started my program teaching people how to get remote jobs successfully, because that's a large part and a large roadblock for a lot of people who are trying to relocate, because they don't know what they would do over here, but they know that they're being called. They're being called back and they have to follow that. But we got to make sure that we have everything in place so that the experience is a good experience. So that's the biggest thing to me, just making sure that you really truly love the place that you're going to and that you have the means to sustain, because it's unfortunate if you have to go back home or end up having a possibly negative experience because those things aren't in order. A message to my past self before relocating, it would definitely be that it'll all work out. I know that sounds very mystical. I'm a very spiritual person, but it'll all work out.